I am Verna Smith, and welcome to another edition of Issues in Focus. This is another week of much political talk. This is another week of much political discussion. This is another week of much political analysis because, yes, this week, November the 3rd, Election Day, in many instances marks 1 year since President Obama was swept into office with much excitement, with much hope for the population, with much hope for his grassroots supporters, and with much hope that we would see the country move in another direction. 1 year after the fact, Tuesday, people went to the polls in two states in particular, New Jersey and Virginia, and the losses in those states are being used, rightly or wrongly, as a referendum on the president's accomplishments. Yes, people are saying a lot of talk but no action, or a lot of talk and action but no accomplishments. I am going to say at this stage we are talking grades. Yes, that's what people are saying. The president, despite the fact that he worked with the governor, Corzine of New Jersey, made 3 trips to New Jersey, Corzine lost after 1 term in office. In Virginia, we had another loss in the governorship. So many people are saying, especially those from the right, that the president has lost, and this is an indication of where his presidency is going, in the down direction. And I say, I beg to differ. Yes, I think the losses in Virginia and New Jersey were mostly determined by situations on the ground, not having much to do with the presidency. It would have been nice if those 2 governors won, because after all, they have been replaced by Republicans. But it does give the president a chance to take a check, to check a list of what has gone wrong first among his supporters. Many of them were absent. I'm sure it's about apathy. I'm sure when people were polled, I understand, most people were concerned about the economy. Yes, this week there were fewer jobs lost. I think there were 512,000 jobs. Fewer people were asking for unemployment benefits, but nevertheless, a whole lot of people are out of work on mainstream of America. The only places where people are still getting huge bonuses, the only places that people are still doing as they please in terms of how they're handling money that was loaned to them after a bailout is in Wall Street. Most of us are not from Wall Street, so we are still feeling the pinch of a very tight economy. We are still feeling the pinch of a very deep recession. And yes, President Obama is the new president, and of course, he has to hone it whether or not he wants it, despite the fact that we must remember that in 1 year, one cannot correct all the errors made in 8 years. So, irrespective of how we want to judge him, there must be a chance to say, in consideration of something. So I'm saying that at this stage of the game, I give him incomplete. Tuesday may have a lot of meanings for different people. For him, it's huge. For me, it's huge because I supported the president. I was caught up in the moment of his promises, of his energy, of his compassion, of his wanting to do much for us in terms of the domestic agenda, his need and his wanting to say, you know, Afghanistan is where the trouble is and I'll go and address it. We have seen what has happened with the elections in Afghanistan in terms of Karzai, and now that the opponent has dropped out of the race, and the president will have to work with Karzai to see what good, if anything, can come out of Afghanistan. My only concern again is what will that escalation, if there is an escalation, will do to our domestic agenda. I am always concerned about our domestic agenda because we still want healthcare. We still want a dynamic economy, which is going to take months of hard work to get it right, given how steep the unemployment is. We still are concerned about climate change. We still are concerned about Iraq and what that means to our national security. So again, on the president's accomplishment 1 year after the fact, I say incomplete, but I will give him an A for effort because I really think he's trying. I'm not sure if he fully gets the message in terms of his base, but given what came out on Tuesday, that so many of his folks stayed home and the Republicans won in places where probably they shouldn't, he would understand that there probably is a greater need for him to talk to the people who want to talk to him in terms of his supporters and give less attention to the Republicans who will continuously say no, because of course they have another agenda. So again, we are talking 1 year after President Obama's accomplishment. What are your thoughts? Do you think he's doing a good job? Do you think he still has the potential to deliver on his robust promises? I think he does, and I would like to hear what you think. And I'm not being cynical. I think he's hardworking. I think he has, as I said, given the country a different tone so that we can talk to the rest of the world. He has given the country a different tone so that we can lead across the world. And of course, he has given the country a different tone so that most of us can be inspired that he's the most progressive president we've had in office since Lyndon Johnson. And there might be a chance for us domestically to do some of the things that have not been happening. I would love to hear your points of view. Join the conversation. Leave a comment on this video. Leave a comment on my blog, vernasmith.com. Yes, I am encouraging you, welcoming you, asking you, inviting you to stop by my blog, vernasmith.com. Join the conversation. Tell me, what are your thoughts on President Obama? Are you still inspired by him? Do you think he has the guts and the grit to do what has to be done? Do you still see him as the nation, the future's nation tied up in what he accomplishes? Talk to us. Talk to me. Would love to hear your comments. Again, we are talking presidential elections, and I would love to hear what are your thoughts on what happened this Tuesday, Election Day 2009. I am Verna Smith, and this has been Issues in Focus. See you next week.